After people start working from home with their laptops, good luck getting them to come back to the office again. Scammers who tell you that you won a free cruise, are gonna have to come up with a new line. The floor in Elsa's castle from Frozen must be freaking slippery. It's socially acceptable to ask a stranger for a cigarette, but weird to ask a stranger for a quarter, even though the cigarette is worth more. Biggest flex in the world might be answering, "I don't know, to how much do you earn?" When real dogs see cartoon dogs on TV, they're probably confused by all the grammatical error. Mother Nature saw how angry we have all been lately and just told all of us to go back to our separate rooms in timeout for a while. Tony Hawk not being recognized so often, is proof that Superman's Clark Kent disguise would actually work. Since everyone is spending more time inside, we will have a baby boom in 9 months with a run on diapers. Technically, you have the ability to shapeshift, but it only occurs slowly and you can't revert back. Loners might be feeling hella awkward nowadays with everyone in the family around the whole time. Panic hoarding is fueled more by others hoarding than by potential future needs. Important PSA, no, you did not win a gift card. Luigi affords a mansion, yet he's an out-of-work plumber who spends all his time helping his brother chase after a princess. Once restaurants are allowed to reopen, we'll be eating from the cleanest kitchens in history. The actual sounds of crickets symbolize silence for humans. Test Ozzy Osbourne for a cure, he has been eating bats longer than any of us. Supermarket employees working overtime aren't recognized as heroes, but all medical professionals are. The stick figures you see on warning signs getting killed are probably dying, because there is no sign to warn them as they exist within the sign. The end of songs now don't gradually fade into the back like they did in the 80s and 90s. I'm starting to understand why Gen Z is named after the last letter. Technically the floor is lava, there's just a lot of organic chemical compounds keeping you from it. Boomers had it so great that a major movie trope was the successful dad/husband who needed to learn to spend more time with his family because money wasn't everything. Shaving your head is a hairstyle, being bald is the lack of one. Both spiders and octopuses have 8 limbs, and one of Spider-Man's nemesis is Dr. Octopus, a twisted reflection of our hero. It would suck if someone's New Year's resolution was to be more social. People aren't avoiding crowded areas, in fact, they are creating a more crowded environment in stores while hoarding all of these items. Somewhere in the world, someone went into a coma in December and is going to wake up in April or May, and will know how the guy from 28 Days Later felt. The movie Inception is a massive fuck you to those who hate it was all a dream endings. The majority of us can't afford to leave home, but we can't afford to stay home, either. Silverfish aren't silver, nor are they fish. The more realistic a movie is, the more chance it will be R-rated. Most PG movies are shielding kids from realism. Your digestive system is a literal shit factory, you give it food, it gives you shit. No fictional book character ever looks exactly the same to 2 people. Everything is going wrong and we're not allowed to face palm. Blind people can sleep with the light on. Someday, things we buy could have a label reading "Made on Earth." Shoes made of recycled shoes are reboots. All clothes are unisex if you're bold enough. Mosquitoes didn't evolve to make their bites itch, we evolved to get itchy so we'd learn to swat them away. We're the assholes. Doing nothing seems a lot more fun when you have homework. We usually underestimate kids' intelligence and overestimate adults. It's likely we've asked for too little of children and adults aren't providing enough. 1, 2, skip a few, 4 is technically correct. We sadly may not have any WW2 survivors in the next year. The reason pop music is overwhelmingly about either love or partying is that these are literally the only aspects of life that music stars still have in common with normal people. We hear boss music when we walk into the room, but bosses probably also hear player music. Licking your plate is rude as well as a compliment. At some point during your life, you probably made a decision that made you more of an NPC than a player. Coffins become maracas during earthquakes. Those doomsday preppers are probably being fucking smug right about now. The laundry is never done. It just goes through stages. It's been 3 months and we've already seen some aspect of all 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Augustus Gloop would have had a pretty horrible death had he not got sucked into that pipe head first. Popcorn is the only food you blow up in the microwave on purpose. There is a point in time when being told you look older than you are becomes less of a compliment and more of an insult. A single bat somewhere literally brought the whole human race to a standstill. Ransacking all the area's pharmacies during the end of the world is an overlooked strategy. You won't need to scrape and scavenge for food, when the entire region is at your mercy for antibiotics and painkillers. When we fart at school, a little piece of our past goes into our classmates' future. The floor is lava is probably pretty boring for the people on the ISS. The entire internet weighs less than a potato. Babies aren't able to process a person being existent if they can't see them, so peekaboo is literal magic to them. Many of us only know how to spell the word beautiful thanks to Jim Carrey. The cost of anxiety meds is enough to give anyone anxiety. You don't realize how heavy your head is until you lay it on your pet. Cell phones have turned pushing someone into a pool from a light-hearted prank into a huge dick move. Our kids are all getting to find out just how boring our jobs really are. Seeing a mermaid would actually be completely terrifying. It's a terrible time to finally feel ready to go out and meet new people. A phobia is a primal nope. Social media's like a toxic relationship. It's terrible for you and consumes your life, but you don't want to leave it. You have no idea where the nearest giraffe is. Comedies are more realistic than dramas because in real life people always crack jokes to relieve tension. Ironic that the thing making us all stay apart from each other could be the thing that finally brings us all together. Jeff Bezos could give 600 million people a $100 Amazon voucher and it wouldn't even be half his fortune. If we only had one arm, we wouldn't be able to wash it. Poor is living with your parents, rich is your parents living with you. In one episode of The Simpsons, Moe tries to kill Bart. He is literally a Bart-ender. Let's all agree the entire financial system is made up. A year after massive tax cuts, we have enough money to inject trillions into the economy. It's all just numbers in computer screens. Grocery stores need to start making the first 2 hours of each day seniors only during emergency situations. Maybe E.T. was left behind because he truly was the extraterrestrial. Suo, we fina lly can hobby esexatwork and no one will even notice that. In the past, watches were a necessity accessory and cell phones a luxury item. Today, cell phones are a necessity item and watches, a luxury accessory. There is safety in numbers is no longer true. If someone flew a drone through the streets of Paris, one of the most popular tourist attractions, while all of the city was in self-isolation, it would make for an awesome video. The branches of the trees are also roots, just that instead of looking for water they are searching for sunlight. We can no longer buy humans, we must rent them. Coming on a slug might be salty enough to kill it. Saving and screenshotting things from the internet is the internet version of cutting out a newspaper article. Pets are probably having a blast now with their owners working from home. We lived through the Great Depression. Now, we must live through the Great Isolation. Maybe cats like to sleep on us because they mistake our snores for purring. If you weigh 99 pounds and eat 1 pound of nachos, you will be 1% nachos. More people die in Shrek than in Joker. The people who are so panicked about getting sick, are willing to cram themselves into a store with hundreds of other people to get an unnecessary amount of supplies, that might not really benefit them that much, and in doing so they might actually get sick. Morbid thought, but with schools/universities closing or moving to online instruction, there will likely be fewer school shootings this year. All the meats and breads shelves are empty, but the seasoning aisles are still full. If there's a small bright side to the lockdown, it's that we'll soon get to see what the normally clean-cut folks look like with shaggy hair. Somewhere, Some unfortunate deaf person probably got beat up / shot because the person watching him do sign language thought they were throwing up gang signs. If sat us the past tense of sit, then fat is the past tense of fit. If the earth was flat, then you could stand on top of Mount Everest and see the whole world.